Imagine a room in Indiana University, 1980s. Doug Hofstadter and his students huddle around computers, watching a program called Copycat struggle to solve analogies like ABC is to abd is ake is to. The screen flickers, the code churns, yet the machine stumbles in capturing the fluid, creative leap our minds make effortlessly. What if thinking itself is a dance of patterns, shifting and reshaping? This question opens the door to a dizzying world where mind, machine, and meaning blur. The book kicks off with a deceptively simple challenge, solving analogies, but the story behind Copycat, a computer program, is where the magic brews and the tension rises. Doug Hofstadter and Melanie Mitchell built Copycat to tackle puzzles like ABC is to abd is ake is to at Indiana University. The program's struggle to guess ale instead of a rigid algorithm reveals something profound. Our brain doesn't just match symbols, it senses patterns within patterns, a fluid dance of perception. Picture your mind as a jazz musician riffing off a theme. Fluid perception isn't about fixed rules, but about seeing how patterns bend and morph into new shapes. Just as jazz musicians flow beyond sheet music, your brain improvises with concepts, crafting meaning on the fly. The real kicker, Copycat's evolution showed that machines, when designed to mimic fluid analogy making, sometimes surprise even their creators. They don't just compute, they stumble into novel ideas, proof that analogies fuel creativity not just in humans but in artificial minds too. The lens widens. It's not just patterns, it's patterns about patterns, nested and recursive. Hofstadter's vision breaks open how the mind abstracts and recreates reality. At the Fluid Analogies Research Group, Hofstadter observed that understanding emerges when simple patterns weave into complex ones, like a flock of birds suddenly turning in unison. Thought isn't linear, it's emergence where layered interactions spark new insights. Think of mental patterns as Russian nesting dolls. One pattern hides another, which hides another. This structure lets us compress loads of info into neat abstractions. This nesting allows our brains to leap across ideas, fueling fluid creativity instead of getting stuck in detail. Analogies act like mirrors that reflect one pattern onto another, revealing unexpected connections. By seeing familiar forms in strange places, like Escher's endless stairs, the mind flings open new doors, transforming how we perceive both worlds and ourselves. Now the real shakeup. If mind is pattern play and fluid analogy, what does that mean for intelligence, human or artificial? Hofstadter's daring ideas flip old scripts. Hofstadter argues the mind is less like a calculator and more like a complex pattern processor, constantly rewriting its own code through analogy. This means thinking is dynamic, context-sensitive, and richly self-referential, not static symbols clicking around. Creativity, according to the book, blossoms from vast networks of analogies, each linking quirkily to others. Imagine a sprawling mental web where an idea in physics might spark a leap in poetry. This network structure is the ground of our creative mind. The payoff hits when AI researchers see this model and realize machines need not just brute force logic, but fluid analogy-making abilities to inch closer to human-like intelligence. Hofstadter's work turns AI research into a creative quest, challenging old assumptions and opening bold vistas. Remember Copycat's flickering screen in that Indiana University lab? It's a perfect metaphor for your own thinking, sometimes a struggle, often a surprise, always fluid. Try this next time you face a problem, look for patterns inside patterns and reframe it as an analogy to something else. That shift alone might spark your own version of Copycat's creative leap. Subscribe for more book summaries like this one.